In this video, we're going to have a look at how a student interacts with the site, and from our end as well as the student end. So what I'm looking at is the test that I have running in progress, and in particular the perimeter and area test, which has been assigned to the demonstration class. So if I click on the test, that gives me an idea of the test, and just so I can set the scene for later, what we got, if I look at this particular question here, that's what it looks like, but what I wanted to show you was the details of this question. Now these are questions I didn't create, and there's a range of learning activities, and there's 3 learning activities for there. There are a number of learning activities for each one of these. So again, just have a quick look here. So all these things again coming from Scootle, they're all Scootle resources. So what you see then is a test called perimeter and area with 5 questions. Each question has some assigned help and work that the students can look at. So the learning activities is the word I'm looking for. Okay, and this test has been assigned to the demonstration class. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go out of the teacher logon and look at what the student sees. Last thing I'll show you before we go though, test in progress, is this perimeter has a pin, and this is the pin you would provide to students, and that's the one I'll use with the student that I've created in my demonstration class. So I'm just going to log out here. Now here's how a student logs on. So again, we can just log straight through to join a test. Now, we won't require students to join themselves. We will import their data and create the class within our end of Improve. Students can do that, but I'm going to just go straight in and take a test. Now, the test pin was a V, and the password for this particular student. Okay, so you see it's Mr. Blomfield's class. The test is perimeter and area. Now, for this student, they have already, I have already done this test once. And so what the student can see is that the question, and they can have a look at the question, and okay, I got that one wrong because I answered 375. So I can look at this and say, okay, so that's wrong. Maybe I can try something different. Now, it's not a matter of guessing and checking and then guessing again, but what you can see is the student got these 2 questions right, these 3 questions wrong, and then we continue. And this is, now you see that the student hasn't got the opportunity to do this test again yet. So they would have to access the learning activities. Now these learning activities come from, as I showed you at the beginning of this video, the learning activities from inside the question. There are 4 learning activities, even though there were more than 4 learning activities associated with the questions they got wrong. So there's a limited number of activities at any one point in time given to students. Now, I won't go through this, and I don't expect you to read this, but there's a range of questions, and this question is directly from the test actually. So if a student is looking at this and working through these things, they should be able to get the questions right. You can go through to question 2, obviously. But the other way a student can do it is work through these questions, and you could ask them to write notes. I'll leave that up to you. But all they have to do is click completed. So the downside with this really is that, okay, so here's a reference from Hot Maths, and because I've opened this page, I can just hit complete and hit complete again, and so you get the idea. Now notice this page is, so because your external references move, oops, I don't want to do that. Because your external references might change, and here's an example of that. But I can still hit complete. One more activity to go. And see, okay, forget the noise, but you know,
The perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape.
Let me stop this.
It is sometimes called the boundary. Look at the following square
Stop.
to find out how to measure its perimeter.
Yeah, complete. Okay, it stopped. The point being, okay, here's the Squirk site, so it can be any external site, okay? Once again, I just click completed because I didn't want to read all that stuff. Now, as a student, now what you see is I can take that test again. Okay, and away you go. Now, here's what students do. They hopefully get this one right this time, and I think the answer... And this now is in a different order than it was originally written. So I'm going to do this. Now, if you put on confidence levels, this confidence level has to be answered for the student to complete the test. So you can choose whether to do that or not. It does appear in the report when you get a report on the quiz. It shows you both the correct or incorrect answer that the student selected as well as this. I suppose if the students are using this sensibly, it's good information. If they're not, it's useless information. But I'm pretty sure I got this one right. You actually click the face, not the button, which is annoying. I'm just going to quickly race through and randomly select questions so I can get to the end and show you. Let's make it like that. And sorry to take you through it, but I do want to show you the end point. Okay, here we go. Finish. Finish. Okay, so the student then can see the first attempt they got 2, the second attempt they got 1, which is rather disappointing. They can print a report for themselves, and you can also print a report from the teacher view. Okay, so we're just waiting for that to load, and it gets downloaded as a PDF. Here it is. So I'm just about to finish here. So there's the student, your answers, ... Okay, now that shows the second quiz, second attempt results. Get rid of that. Okay, and you can go back in as a teacher and have a look at the report. Now, I won't do that now. I'll let you do that. That's easy enough to do. But it gives you an idea of the interaction between both the teacher side, the student side, and how those activities within each question relate to what the student gets to see. Okay, thanks very much.